Hi there. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can take your ideal customer profiles and map these to corresponding Marketo fields and then build smart campaigns to assess newly created leads to see how good a fit they are for your company. And this blog post here is a follow-on blog post that shows all the Marketo implementation in order to do this ICP matching. But I first recommend, before diving into the implementation below, I recommend taking a look at the Marketo lead scoring blog post first, because I outline the model outline and I explain how the ICP matching works. So this is where we are actually going to start this video. And we're going to go to the Marketo lead scoring blog post. We're going to go to Demo and Firmo Marketo lead scoring model 1. And this is where we're going to begin by explaining how the model is set up before we go to the implementation in Marketo later on in this video. So the output of this ICP matching model in Marketo is two fields, lead quality and lead quality detail. And the lead quality field can have four values all the way from unknown to top match. And whether a lead falls into the low to top match buckets is determined by the values that they have for all these fields. And then if a person does not have any values for any of these fields, then we just put them in the unknown bucket. And feedback from the sales team on previous mechanisms was they didn't know why someone was becoming a marketing qualified lead or why they were a good fit for our company. So that's why we have the lead quality detail field to give more information about why the person is a low, mid, or top match. So as we can see in the image here, and I'll show you this Google Sheet later on in this video, we can see the lead quality detail field provides more information about why the person has the lead quality value that they do. I'll link to this blog post within the description of the YouTube video, so you can take a greater look or a more detailed look at all these fields that we score on here. But I list all the fields that are part of our ICP matching model, and I give a reason as to why we might want to include them in the model. So for example, we might want to include target account status, because anyone who's a target account of our sales team, we will want to make them a top match. Or industry is very important because you can only sell to people who are in your target industry. And then there are other fields like this Clearbit company description, where you can score on certain keywords related to your product or service in that company description. So these are all the fields that we use in the scoring model at my company. And now I'm going to show you how we can take all these fields and then look at the different values in these fields to decide what sort of a fit a person is for our company. So now that we know the fields we are interested in matching on, if we open up this Google Sheet, we can now see how we can take these fields and then divide people into certain lead quality values based on what values they have for these fields. So for example, here we can see if someone's Clearbit company tags contain information, technology and services, they're going to be a mid-match. If the employee count is greater than 10 and the industry is diversified telecommunication services, they will also be a mid-match. If they're associated with a target account, they're going to be a top match. If their employee count is greater than 10 and industry is software and services, then they're also a top match. And you can see we also take other fields like the Alexa rank, the Clearbit tech tags, and anything else. Yeah, that's it. So we take all these fields that I showed you here. And then in this sheet, based on the values they have for those different fields, we divide them into different lead quality and lead quality detail segments. And within the top match here, you'll notice that we've got a top match for company descriptions and a top match for job titles. So in this sheet, we've got the keywords we're looking for in the company description field. So if any of these keywords are present in the company description field, we want the person to be a top quality match. And then we also have, and you'll see this down below here, we've also got mid-match company descriptions too in our model. And if we scroll down far enough in the sheet, we can see all the mid-matches that we are doing for the company description field. And then similarly, we've got top match job titles that we're interested in. And we've also got mid-match job titles that we're interested in. And they are stored in this sheet here. So we can see all the keywords that we are looking for in the job title that will lead to someone being a top match. And we can also see all the keywords in the job title that will lead to someone being a mid-match. So this is how we build the ICP matching logic in our Google Sheet. And the next step is to translate all of these matches and put them into Marketo Smart Campaigns. And that's what I'll cover in the rest of the video by going through this Marketo ICP matching post. So the very first campaign we are going to look at, I am going to call the master campaign because it's responsible for kicking off the whole ICP matching process. And this campaign is triggered off of four main things: a person being created, someone being enriched by Clearbit, which is indicated by the Clearbit ready field changing, the campaign being requested. So in the case that we need to do some backdating and run a lot of old leads through this scoring campaign, we can use this to do so. And then the fourth thing it can trigger on is any of the fields that we have in our model. If any of these change, then let's run the person through the scoring model again. And one thing to note here is that it might not be worthwhile running this scoring campaign if the person is created, because you might need to enrich them with Clearbit first. So you could remove this person is created trigger and then rely just on the Clearbit ready value changing to true, because it's probably only worthwhile to run people through this campaign once they've been enriched by Clearbit. You can also add whatever filters you want down the bottom here. So as I already mentioned, you only want to run people through this campaign when we know they've been enriched by Clearbit. You can also add other filters like email address not contains Gmail, because it's likely that you won't have a lot of information about these people, so there's no point running them through this ICP matching flow. Once they trigger the campaign, the very first thing we do in the flow is to reset their lead quality and lead quality detail field. And the reason we do this is because, as you'll see here, we only request these executable campaigns to do particular ICP matches when their lead quality detail field is empty. So in the case that someone has already been through this ICP model, but then they come back in because one of these field values has changed, we want to give them the opportunity to be rescored by this Marketo flow. So the way we give them the opportunity to run through all these campaigns again and get rescored is by setting these two fields to null. And next we have a series of executable campaigns that are responsible for evaluating these ICP matches from our Google Sheet. So the very first one here does not have a choice condition because we just set the lead quality detail field to null. So we already know it's null, so we can call this very first campaign right away. But then you'll notice that all these subsequent campaigns only execute if the lead quality detail field has not been populated yet. If you need an introduction or a refresher to executable campaigns and what the difference is between request campaigns, then check out this blog post here, because I give a thorough walkthrough of both executable and request campaigns and when you should use one versus the other. The next thing I'll point out is that the order of execution of these executable campaigns, which is visible on the left-hand side here, we can see we call this one first, corresponding to flow step 3 here, this one second, corresponding to flow step 4 here, and so on. This is the order we execute these campaigns, and this order is determined by the ranking that we have in this Google Sheet. The highest ranking matches in this Google Sheet need to get first pick at setting someone's lead quality and lead quality detail fields. So therefore, their corresponding executable campaigns need to be executed first. So that is why here we can see that the general top match gets called first, then we call the company description top match, job title top match, and then general top match. And this corresponds to, so the first one, the general top match 1 here, corresponds to all of these. Then Company description top match corresponds to evaluating all of the top matches for our company description from this sheet. And then job title 3 top match is corresponding to this row here, and it's responsible for evaluating all the top match job titles in this sheet. And then finally, general top match number 2 corresponds to just this last row by itself. And then all of these campaigns then correspond to rows in the rest of this Google Sheet. So I'm just going to pick a few out because I don't want to overstate this. But you can see again, we've got a company description mid-match campaign here, and that corresponds to this. And in this executable, we evaluate all the mid-match company description matches. And then we've got another job title mid-match here. And again, this corresponds to this row in the Google Sheet, which corresponds to evaluating all the job title mid-matches from this sheet. Okay, so hopefully this will make a bit more sense once I dive into how the executable campaigns are structured in Marketo. So taking a look at this first one here, the structure of each of these executable campaigns is the exact same. There are 2 change data value flow steps, one to update the lead quality detail field, and then one to update the lead quality field. And when we're updating the lead quality detail field, we can either use the member of smart list criteria, or we can just use simple contains or is matching with fields like this. So this Clearbit Company Tech Full contains Twilio, and we can see that this choice statement here corresponds to this line in the Google Sheet, and we can see the target account match here that corresponds to this priority. So our target account field in Salesforce is the priority field, and if it's a target account, it's a P1 or P2. So this choice statement here corresponds to the target account priority. So in the case that we set the lead quality detail field here, we then use the lead quality detail value to determine what value the lead quality field should be. So in the case that someone's a member of this smart list, this false matches smart list, then we say no enrichment available and their lead quality value will be unknown. If it contains associated, we know it's top match. If the lead quality detail is Clearbit Tech Tag includes Twilio, we know it's top match. However, in the case that we do not populate the lead quality detail field, then the lead quality field here also does not get updated. Then we go back to the master flow. So we executed campaign number 3. There were no ICP matches. So the lead quality detail field is still empty. So then it'll go into execute campaign number 4, see if there's a match. If there is, it sets it. And then we don't go through any of the rest of these campaigns. However, if the lead quality detail is not set in execute step number 4, then we go to the next execute step here and so on. And I'll show you what the company description top match looks like. So this is just a shortened version. So in here we can see if company description Clearbit contains PBX, then we set the lead quality detail equal to this value. And that corresponds to this row in the Google Sheet. And as I mentioned, this row in the Google Sheet leads to this much larger Google Sheet. And we can see that when we match the PBX keyword in the company description, we want the lead quality detail to be company description telecom PBX. And that's exactly what we're setting here in Marketo. And then you can see we've got other examples here for interactive voice response, IVR. And again, they correspond to these rows in the Google Sheet. So we would have a choice condition here for every single top match. And yes, this is quite a pain to implement. So we would have to have 67 choice conditions in this change data value to set the lead quality detail. And if we set the lead quality detail, we know that the corresponding lead quality should be top match. So we set that here. And then we repeat this down below for all the company description mid-matches. We do the exact same thing where we are then going to have all these mid-match keywords in the choices of this executable campaign. So I've just got a few of them here. And once again, we set the lead quality detail, and then we set the lead quality. And it's the exact same for the job title top match. We can look at a few examples here where we see job title contains VoIP, SIP, IVR, and that corresponds to these top matches at the top of the sheet here. And if we were doing this fully, we'd again have a choice for all of these top matches. So there's 32 of them here. So we'd actually have 32 choice statements in here to set the lead quality detail. And if we set the lead quality detail in here, we know that the corresponding lead quality should be top match. And then we repeat that again for all the mid matches in that job title sheet. And let's just take a look at another mid-match campaign just to show you some more examples of what these structures look like. As I mentioned before, we can use simple field value is matching. We can use member of smart list in matching. We can also do contains matching in order to set the lead quality detail. And when we're using these smart lists, some examples I'll show you are when we use smart lists, this allows us to do more complex logic. So we can build all our logic in the smart list. So the employees is at least 10. The industry is internet software and services. And we use this in the general top match 1, where we say if someone is a member of this smart list, sorry, it's general top match 2. It's in here that we actually use it. So we say if they are a member of the Internet Software and Services Smart List that I just showed you here, then we set their corresponding lead quality detail field equal to that. So that's the advantage of using a smart list. You can build a lot of complex and or logic in the smart list and then use it here in your choice condition. So this is how each and every single one of these executable campaigns is set up. And then the last thing we'll take a look at here is how we set up the very end of this last executable campaign. So if we make it all the way down to this executable campaign at the end of our master flow, then we have to make sure that the person's lead quality detail is either set to mid-match, low-match, or in the case that we do not set it to mid-match or low-match, then we should set the person's lead quality to known. So that way, once they reach the very end of this last executable campaign in the flow, they will definitely have a lead quality value assigned. So just going through the final examples here, we evaluate the last conditions here. And in the case that we make it through these final 3 conditions and the person is not in the unenriched smart list, basically that means they have been enriched. So if they've made it through all of the prior conditions in all of these execute campaigns, and they've made it through all of these choice statements here, and they make it to this final choice statement, and we know they've been enriched, then let's set clearbit enriched to true. We know they're not a mid-match. And then once we set the lead quality detail equal to this, they'll come down here and they'll get their lead quality set equal to low match. However, if they make it through all of these choice steps, then we're going to set the lead quality detail field equal to no enrichment available. So I'm doing some editing here on the fly. This should be lead quality detail field equal to no enrichment available. So in the case we've made it through all of the choices in all these executables, we made it through these ones here, then lead quality is no enrichment available. We set the lead quality field correspondingly to unknown. However, in the case that the lead quality detail is not no enrichment available and it's not clearbit enrich equals true and they're not a mid-match, then we know we should set their lead quality equal to mid-match because that means they've matched one of these previous choices here. So that's it. That's how we can do all the ICP matching within these executable campaigns. And that brings me to the end of this blog post here. And as I mentioned at the end, this is only the beginning of you learning about Marketo lead scoring, and it's only one of the 3 models I have available. So I recommend going to the Marketo lead scoring blog post. And in this one, we went through the demographic and firmographic lead scoring model 1, but I highly recommend taking a look at lead scoring model number 2 and lead scoring model number 3 in this blog post, so you can get different ideas of how to set up different scoring models within Marketo and then choose the best one for you. And then at the end of this blog post, I also show you how to do some Marketo lead scoring for activities and how you can build this lead scoring for activities and whatever demographic and firmographic scoring model you've chosen, how you can combine both of these and use them in a marketing qualification mechanism. So check out this blog post. There's lots of useful information there. And as always, if you find this video useful, please give it a like. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, then please subscribe.